Hey YouTube, how's it going? Kevin Cleary with a knife video. I do have a couple of quick housekeeping matters to do starting off. The winners of the 1,000 subscriber giveaway are, number one, Neil the Knife Guy won the Schrade SCHA12. Okay, I'll be contacting him via personal message and getting address and stuff to send that out. The other winner of the CRKT Minimalist was Ryan Hugh Daddy 2. Okay, so both of them will have personal messages coming. If I'm mispronouncing one of those and you think you won, I'll just tell you, if you didn't get a personal message, you didn't win. So that's how that's going to work. The other thing I want to do before we get started with the actual content is I carry this pen all the time. It's the Zebra 701. I really like the feel of it in hand. I really like the point. And I really like how it writes and how it feels. Now, I've been considering trying a tactical pen. Okay, what I'd like to know from you guys, especially if there are some of you who have a lot of use with this, maybe you've tried more than one tactical pen, maybe you could even speak to how these might compare. I'd love to get your feedback. Should I bother? Is it just a waste of time and energy? Are they not as useful as just a regular pen and not as comfortable? So please feel free to comment with that below. I'd love to get some feedback on that. The ones that are right now on my short list are the SC Pen BK, which is just the Schrade tactical pen that's just sort of a plain Jane type of deal. The other one in a similar vein, you know, it's just very plain and straightforward, is the CRKT James Williams tactical pen. Those are the two I'm primarily considering, but if you have other recommendations, I'd love to hear it. So those are the two things I need to get done right away. Let you know that the giveaway is done and who won it. And number two, ask you guys for a little feedback on tactical pens. I'm still really not decided on even if I'm interested in one. Okay, so that's where I'd love to have some feedback. Is it worth it? Is it something to just skip because they're not that great? Now, let's finally get to what I really want to talk about, which is knives and the weight of them. Okay, I've got a couple of extreme examples. Here is the Zero Tolerance 0200, very heavy knife, 7.9 ounces. This is about the heaviest that I like to carry, which is why I brought it rather than, I have some heavier knives. The Schrade 300 series knives are really heavy, 9-10 ounces some of them, and I just don't carry them. The other extreme is going to be this. This is the Spyderco Pacific Salt, and this knife is even lighter than the Endura. It's like 3 ounces and change, okay? So extremely lightweight, and you're getting quite a big full-size knife. So those are two extremes, okay? And in between those two, there are a whole lot of knives in a whole bunch of different weights and sizes, and some are easy to carry, some are hard to carry. So that's what I'd like to talk about. If you want to comment below, I'd love to hear if you have a magic number. Over time, I used to be a little more critical about this, but I've tried some heavier knives and realized that I really like them. So now I'm not that concerned about it. And let me just tell you this story. I have all these knives here with me that I want to share with you that pertain to weight. Some of them are a little heavier. This is the Kershaw CQC4 XL, 6 ounces. All right. The ZT 0560 is 6.5 ounces. The Real Steel H6, here we've got 5 point something ounces. All right. Now, another example that stands out is the Spyderco Military, and I know I'm not getting to my other point yet, but I will. I have the Titanium Military. I honestly love this knife. It is one of my favorite folders to own and carry, and I like it way better than the normal Military, the G10. Okay. Even though, same blade, same ergonomics, this one is much heavier. It weighs around 6 ounces, and I would take this over the regular Military any day, okay? Another good example of that is the Titanium Endura. This is the Damascus, of course, but this is a good example. There are a ton of people out there who love the stainless steel Endura, even though it weighs more than the FRN Endura, okay? They just love it. They just prefer the stainless steel, okay? So the reason I bring all of these up is because these are examples of knives where you could literally get the same thing, only lighter, and I still prefer the heavier one, okay? Now, let me say this just by way of experimentation. I've got a couple other knives that I want to show you, But I went ahead and took all these knives. Maybe there are 2 or 3 that I didn't do, but I took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 knives, okay? And I'm wearing the, I'll stand up for a second. You still can't see it. Sorry. I'm wearing the 511 Flex Tech pants, and I put these on last night just for this experiment. I put them on and I literally filled every pocket with knives. So I had knives in the back pockets, I have knives in the cargo pants pockets, I got 9 knives on me altogether. Even in the little front slot pockets I put some in, and walked around the house that way. Just went around my daily business for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Okay, made supper, cleaned the house, played with the kids, all that kind of stuff. Guess what? It was totally doable. You know, it wasn't something I would recommend or that I do all the time, but I purposely did that experiment just so I could tell you guys what it was like this morning or today when I made this video. All right, and it wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't perfect, and I wouldn't voluntarily do it every day, but the reason I did it is to demonstrate that even when I put 9 knives in all my pockets, I could still get around. Okay, I could still do what I needed to do without too much difficulty. Now, yes, I know it was only for an hour and a half or so. But the point that I want to make is I think for most people, let me use 2 good examples here. Very popular, very awesome knives. Rat Model 1, 5.5 ounces or so, maybe anyway, close to 5 ounces. Real Steel H6 gets a little closer to 6 ounces. So this is the heavier knife out of these 2. Okay, now guess what? I would suggest to you that if I carried both of these in the pocket, and I carry both of these quite frequently, if I carried these 2 around, you know, one day I carried this one, the next day I carried this one, and at the end of the day you asked me how comfortable was that knife to carry, I would not be saying to you, wow, the Rat Model 1 was so much better and so much more comfortable, I'm never carrying this thing again. And the reason I know I wouldn't be saying that is because I've had that experience, okay? And I really don't notice it. Now, yes, I'm still going to make note of the fact that something like the 0200 for its size is quite heavy, and something like the 804 for its size is quite light. In fact, this is a knife that feels odd in hand because when you pick it up, based on the size and look of the knife, you just expect it to be heavier. And so you pick it up and you're like, whoa, this is crazy. Okay, which is a pretty cool experience. And I'll admit, they've done a really good job getting this down to the weight that they have it at. And of course, the full carbon fiber scale makes a big difference. Okay, now, the end of the day, this is what I'd like to say about this. Yes, the weight matters a little, okay? And it may matter more for certain things, okay? If you're going to go jogging, probably the Spyderco Salt, Pacific Salt, or any of the Salt series, they're all lighter than their equivalents in the normal blade. It's a great option. You know, something like a SOG Aegis is another good option. Something like this American Lawman. By the way, the Lawman still weighs a lot more than the Pacific Salt. But yeah, if you're jogging, sure, these are all great options because you're going to really notice a heavier knife in a pair of track pants or a pair of jogging shorts. Okay? But outside of that, for most of us, most of the time, we're not going to notice the difference between really 3.5 up to almost 6.5 ounces is not going to be that big of a difference. And so what I'm suggesting to you in this video is there are tons of great knives in a number of different weight categories. And probably you could get a lot of enjoyment out of a knife like the Real Steel T101 Thor, even though for its size, it's maybe a little bit heavy. Not the end of the world, it's just not the most efficient knife ever made. Okay? So that's the point of my video, guys. I would love to hear in the comments below if you have like a magic number. You say, I never go over 4.5 ounces. I never go over 5 ounces. I never whatever. Okay? You fill in the blanks. By the way, I want to add one more point here before, and in kind of closing. If you talk to or if you watch videos of custom knife enthusiasts or mid-tech guys, often they'll comment on the weight of a knife being a good thing. They like that heavy feel. To them it says quality. Now, I don't think that's necessarily true, but I do know, I'm just expressing the idea that there are a group of knife enthusiasts who look at weight very differently than a lot of us do. There you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we will talk to you soon.